face value, Juuni Taisen is a well-animated but predictable death game story. But for anyone who knows about the controversy around Mayoiga, they know that face value isn't the only way to consume media. I am fortunate enough to have consumed Juuni Taisen with the perspective intended to watch the show, and as a result, I can inform you about my perspective so that you can understand what is so enjoyable about the show that it can divide the fan base to the point that it is. So welcome to my deep dive into the dense story that surrounds the 12th Juuni Taisen.
Everybody, clap your hands!
Juuni Taisen is a farce. It's a story that teases the audience by being extremely predictable, only to taunt us to realize that we actually have no idea what the fuck is going on. Let me explain. To everyone who says that they already know exactly who's gonna die in Juuni Taisen based on the backstory the show presented, well, so did everyone who saw the ending theme, or decided to look at the zodiac chart, or even the show's titles. Anyone who thinks that this was done out of pure laziness has either never heard the name Nishio-Isin or majorly underestimates him as a writer. It's how the show manages to trick us despite knowing this is why the fans love it so much. To show you what I mean, I have to break down the first 3 episodes of the show. Episode 1 opens with an introduction of the backstory of Boar. At this point, we had not been introduced to the idea that development could be a death flag, so we were not expecting her death to be so close. In fact, it is to the storyteller's benefit to keep deeper, more developed characters alive for longer periods of time, which is why no one saw Boar's death coming in episode 1, hence why the show had high ratings in the first place. The second episode's title, along with the introduction of Dog's backstory, indicated to the audience that Dog's death was coming. The question is when and how. Since the lore of the world requires fighters to come from predetermined families, some fighters might be weak, naive warriors, as is the case with Chicken. In fact, it is later shown that Sheep's grandson would have had to fight in the war if he did not step up. So after establishing the alliance between Chicken and Dog, the plot shifts to the two of them strategizing on how to kill the corpse of Boar. We see Dog start to warm up to Chicken, and while it is odd for a professional killer to do so, it is later revealed that Dog has a daughter, so the idea that this dad can start to like a young naive girl is not too far-fetched. With all this, the common story setup is that Dog and Chicken fight Boar, something goes wrong, Dog sacrifices himself to save Chicken, and they have a heartfelt moment before he passes. Instead, with no setup whatsoever, we get this. Despite knowing that Dog was going to die, by coaxing us into falling for Chicken's naivety, by setting up an alternate version of the story to go down, we were tricked. And that's why I can say that the series is unpredictable, because the intriguing part of the death is not the fact that it happened, but how it happened. To contrast with the previous episode, the point of intrigue in episode 3 is how the death did not happen. The episode starts with Chicken's backstory, putting the final checkmark into the list of criteria needed for someone to die. Looking at the order that is so blatantly advertised to us, our focus is put on Chicken as we know she is next. The main story continues with a fight between Chicken and Boar. The reason why the setup is so genius is because the outcome can go either way, as Boar is already dead, so killing her corpse won't break the order of deaths. But if she kills Chicken, it would follow the cycle as well. The scene plays on this by elongating Chicken's setup for her plan as a means of building up tension and hinting at the possibility that she can die here and now. After beating Boar, she goes to a store and then encounters Rat. Rat takes her to a tunnel where she remarks that her birds have difficulty following, hinting at her death. In the sewers, Chicken meets Monkey, who is after her in the chopping block. Knowing this, it is easy to picture a double death, a scenario where Chicken dies but injures Monkey enough for her to die moments later. The high tension is held as Chicken's deciding whether she should attack Monkey. She instead decided to leave, only to meet her demise at the hand of Ox. Yes, this episode reached a predictable outcome, but the fact that it presented so many high tension scenarios where we had no idea what was going to happen despite this restriction is a testament to Nishio-Isin's brilliant writing. I could break down the whole show and point out the numerous times the show plays with our heads, but I want to focus on the techniques Nishio-Isin uses instead. Nishio-Isin plays with the setup and payoff process heavily. In any story, elements are set up early so that later plot points don't seem like bullshit. The issue with this is that the setup can often be spotted, making the payoff predictable and boring. A good storyteller will be able to hide the setup so that the payoff is unpredictable, and Nisio Aisin does this several times, which is just a testament to his creativity. But more notable than that is his use of fake setups. In episode 1, Boar starts to discuss her malice towards Monkey, which sets up a confrontation between those two. With the expectation of a payoff, the audience couldn't fathom the idea of Boar dying without fighting Monkey, which is part of the reason why we were so surprised when it did happen. Dog's ability to handle poison resulted in nothing, as he was killed before he could do anything with it. We were surprised when Sheep died because it gave the fact that he did not eat the poison no value. And no one expected Monkey to die before revealing her master plan that would allow everyone to survive. Due to the lack of payoff, all these deaths feel out of place. They feel like the characters still had more to them that we never got to explore, that a life was literally and narratively cut short. The other most common complaint I hear about this series is that the characters are not well developed since they all get a 10-minute half-assed backstory. Well, to that I say that you underestimate Nisio Aisin's abilities. Nisio Aisin's greatest weapon is his dialogue. Each sentence uttered by each character is filled with such personality. The way Boar's dialogue overshadows the speaker is reflective of her cockiness. The way she judges everyone and everything also adds to that, along with giving us a large exposition dump without us realizing it. By contrast, the way Chicken's mind thinks over her actual speech, and the fact that the information spoken and thought contradict each other, shows that she doesn't even realize the fact that she's opening up to Monkey. I can go on about how Horse's dialogue reflects his anxiety, Tiger's reflects her hidden kindness, her Ox's nobleness. I'm not saying that the characters of this series are amazing. Over many series, this use of dialogue can create very endearing and lovable characters, and I acknowledge that it takes that long. The amount of time we get with Nisio Aisin's surgical writing in Juuni Taisen is enough to make the characters functional. And this story is a chaotic mess, which is why I am most impressed by the glue that holds it all together, the production. Nisio Aisin's dialogue in the series is essential to keep everything flowing together. Just look at this example of dialogue from episode 11.
今回の12対戦の情勢はほとんど決まっていたのかもしれないね。現状どれほどの戦士が生き残っているのか知らないがね。犬や羊の実力でどうにかできるとも思えない。あとは誰だっけ。12戦士はもう一人いたはずだ。そう確か。
ねえの戦士。うじゃうじゃ殺せ。ネズミ。
The use of one character finishing another sentence as a way of maintaining pace and flow is nothing new, and is often made fun of when overused.
Dude, isn't this all really familiar? I saw something just like this on that show called Stranger
Things. Stranger Things is the show. I saw it too.
But wait, isn't Stranger Things just like that movie? Just like that movie, It?
You saw it too?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
But the difference is that Nisio Aisin is always careful when he does. Rat is literally introducing himself in the scene the same way every character has done multiple times in the series, and it just happens to fit as a perfect transition. This is one example of Nisio Aisin's brilliant use of dialogue, and the topic alone really deserves its own video. Of course, the directing has a large part to play in maintaining the flow of the series as well. This show has no shortage of well-crafted and storyboarded action scenes that keep the action kinetic but easy to follow, not to mention the use of inventive and effective transitions, keeping us absorbed in the moment. This show is also amazingly cinematic with its colors, scene compositions, and dynamic camera movements. Its character designs are very memorable and full of personality. It is honestly one of the best combinations of CGI and 2D animation that I have ever seen, and we haven't even gone to discuss how well scored it is. Its opening choice is perfect as something that draws you into its warlike atmosphere, and the show's ending adds such a kick to the cliffhanger that I just want more. Luckily I binged the series, so I didn't have to wait to get more. And this is honestly the main reason why I'm confused about the show's low ratings. Like, not being open to appreciate the story on a deeper level is one thing, but does the scene where the shot composition, color, facial animation, and musical score are so full of intensity and anxiety, and where the dialogue builds up tension as it transitions from the idealistic ramifications of staying still to the physical ones, resulting in a brutal payoff of Horse's excruciating death, really break just because you knew that the death was coming? Like, seriously, even if in your personal opinion the writing of the series sucks, isn't the production worth some points? Well, I would love to break this entire show down scene by scene and fanboy about how amazingly it was crafted, but I'd rather get to the point of the story and why it was told in this manner. Juuni Taisen is a story of order and chaos. Chaos in the sense that it's a fast-paced death game story with 12 active characters, each with their own set of abilities, backstories, and strategies to win the war. And the story acknowledges that it could have gone 100 different ways, as shown by the revelation of Rat's ability. However, as also shown by the fact that Rat had the ability to choose its path, the story performs surgery through this chaos by letting the order of events be a through line that grounds the narrative into its orderly poetic fashion. However, instead of having its predictability be a crutch, Nisio Aisin takes advantage of the fact that we have that information and essentially plays on the fact that we have little information. As a piece of entertainment, Juuni Taisen is fine and dandy, but it's when you pull back and look at the series as a whole is when you realize just how thematically rich this tale is. I didn't really want to delve into this point because I don't want to seem like a copycat of Digibro's Fate Zero video, but this theme is way too prevalent to be ignored. Juuni Taisen is a story that dwells in themes of nihilism, even more so than Fate Zero. Everyone walks into Juuni Taisen with plans of victory and wishes ready, but each of them are cut off before their plan could ever begin and more or less die as a direct result of their plans and wishes. Boar's cockiness and overconfidence cause her to underestimate the story's chaos factor. Dog's love for his daughter causes him to be vulnerable to the cute, naive Chicken. Chicken uses deception so often that she forgets who she's loyal to, reducing her to a being of pure instinct, making her susceptible to the passiveness of Monkey. Monkey's peace treaties are based on people's desires not to fight, and are always taken down by people who crave fighting, so it makes sense that she dies by the hands of someone who can't be reasoned with. Sheep feels that experience is the most valued trait in battle, and as a result places value on people based on their reputation, causing him to die due to underestimating someone who is not very well known. Horse's strength was defense and stealth, and he died because Rat was able to sneak into the same building as him, bringing Snake with him, who took advantage of the barricade Horse made for himself, smoking him to his death. Snake and Dragon have the basic desire to make money, so the ways they died is simple as well. Snake's ability to sense things distracted him, and Dragon's ability to fly made him feel overconfident as he didn't think anyone could follow him into the sky. Rabbit never got a backstory, so his death wasn't actually a death. Tiger always pondered about what it means to do the right thing, so she died saving the most noble character. Ox is noble and always fought people head-on, so his death was caused by someone playing dirty. In fact, he first escaped death from a dirty trick twice before running out of luck. At the end of the day, the guy who wins won by running around and placing a bomb in a convenient spot. And his wish at the end is to erase the memory of the event, stating that he would be happier with nothing than a responsibility. Not only does this waste the all-powerful wish, but it spits at the effort of every warrior in that fight, making them forgotten. However, at the same time, Juuni Taisen dwells in the theme of scars of war. Except Rat, every fighter has a different role in causing, fixing, or contributing to conflict, and they each came to the fight with a wish to stop fighting and just be happy. And at the end, since Rat is the one character whose normal life does not involve fighting in a war, his ultimate wish is to remove the scars that he has been given through the mock war known as the 12th Juuni Taisen. I think part of the reason why I love the show to the extent that I do is because of my love-hate relationship with the penultimate arc of the popular battle shonen Hunter x Hunter, also known as the Chimera Ant arc. The Chimera Ant arc also has a story that presents itself within chaos, and I do think that the story it presents is very compelling. However, I hate how this arc feels that the goals of the story justify the constant, in-depth narration from a third person. So as you can imagine, I felt pretty gratified when I saw another chaotic story unfold in an engaging way simply through use of the playful and fluid dialogue that Nisio Aisin is so well known for. For a long time, fans of the series have excused the use of such a boring method of execution, saying that it was the only way to tell the story that it was trying to tell, and I never had a rebuttal to that argument. But now I have an answer on how to do chaos theory properly, and the answer is Juuni Taisen. This series is clearly not for everybody, as a lot of people just want to see a bunch of people fight without knowing the end outcome, and that is understandable, but I hope you understand why a lot of us love this series to the extent that we did. Or have at least gained an appreciation for some of the creative, subversive elements in the show, even if they didn't impress you as much as they impressed us. Well, that about wraps up my first YouTube video, and sitting here in post-production re-watching this thing made me realize one thing: I suck at this. The writing is sloppy, the editing is terrible, and the audio, god, the audio. So in the comment section below, along with a discussion on the points I presented in this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you also provide me with some constructive criticism on my production. I am currently using iMovie as my editing software, and I'm looking to experiment with other free editing softwares that are compatible with Mac OS. So if you have any recommendations, also put that in the comment section below. Also, I'm pretty sure Audacity is the universal audio format software, but if there are any others that are better and that are also free and compatible with Mac OS, also put those in the comment section below. Thank you, and have a great day.